Hello and welcome to the video for NS2. Alright, this is all about positives and negatives. Last video, not much adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Now we're going to get all up in it. Yes! Okay, positives and negatives. Hopefully this is a review, and if it's not, this is going to be one of the most critical skills. If you learn nothing else from my class, learn this. This will show up in so many different things on the KC. No, is the whole KC just, negative 14 plus 9? No. Some of it will be, but there'll be many other problems where if you can't do negative 14 plus 9, anything else I teach you afterwards is a waste of time. This skill you need to know. Alright, now that I've made that clear, let's get going. Negative 14 plus 9. Now, here is the rule you need to be aware of. Adding and subtracting, when you're adding and subtracting, if you see a negative number and a test, begin. If you see a negative number and a positive number, it doesn't matter what the order is, okay? That's the first thing you're looking at. There's no multiplying, dividing, right? There's a positive, there's a negative. There's no parentheses in the middle, okay? So then a positive and a negative. Symbols are different, right? These are symbols, positive and negative signs. Those are symbols. If the symbols are different, the answer will be whatever symbol the biggest number had, okay? So what do I mean by that? We got negative 14 and positive 9. Now positive numbers are always bigger than negative numbers, but when we're trying to figure out what our answer is going to be, we got a positive number and a negative number, right? Two different symbols, doesn't matter the order. 14 is the biggest digit. So you know for your answer, it's going to be negative. Okay? It's always going to be negative. And on top of that, what do you do with these numbers? Subtract. You are always going to subtract when the symbols are different. Then once you've subtracted 14 minus 9, that equals 5. We know the answer is negative 5. Because we already knew, okay, symbols are different. 14 is the bigger digit, so negative is the answer. Then we subtract. We always subtract when the symbols are different. I don't care if there's a positive right in the middle. Symbols are different, we subtract. All right, let's try another example. So negative 17 plus negative 39. Some of you may be aware that parentheses sometimes means multiplication. Let's go ahead and go with that. Whenever you see parentheses, if there isn't a number right in front of it, let's go ahead and write this out so it makes it a little more clear. Give ourselves a little bit more space. Negative 17 plus negative 39. Negative 17 plus negative 39. Alright, so we just talked about the symbols being different. And here we've got a negative 17 and a negative 39. But we've also got this positive right here, okay? So if you have a positive and a negative side by side, and there's no number in between them, okay? No number in between them, right? There's no number in between them. That means the positive is going to go away because there is hidden inside right here a hidden Ninja 1. Now we're going to talk about PEMDAS later on, but when you have a 1 here that's positive times a negative 39, because parentheses means so for number 2, we have negative 17 plus negative 39. So let's go ahead and write that out. Let's give ourselves a little more space on the screen to work with. We just talked in the last example about having symbols are different. So we've got negative 17 and we're adding a negative. Now when you have a negative number and you're adding a negative number, the symbols actually count as the same, even though there's an add here. Because if you owe $17 and you add a $39 bill, your total bill is big now. You owe more money. So you owe more. That means you added the numbers together. So you're taking two negatives, adding them together, and you're going to have a bigger negative. Because anytime that the symbols are the same, when you're adding and subtracting, when the symbols are the same, then you add. You always add. You always add. And keep the symbol, right? So the symbols are the same. Even though you're adding them together, the symbols are the same. So you know your answer is going to be negative before we do any math at all. Then we're going to go ahead and add them, because if the symbols are the same, you're adding two negatives together, you're going to add the numbers. So that's going to leave you with negative 56. Okay, let's go on to another example. 34 minus 63. Remember, what we've been talking about, are the symbols the same? Are they different? If a number doesn't have a symbol, like let's make this a little bit bigger. If a number doesn't have a symbol, then you want to add a positive, okay? There is nothing in front of it. No parentheses, no negatives, no exponents, no nothing. So we can assume it's a positive. So go ahead and draw in a positive. And now, what are we seeing? The symbols are different. So which number is bigger if you ignore the symbols? Well, 63 is bigger than 34. 63 is negative. So that means our answer is going to end up being negative. But the symbols are different. So when the symbols are different, you always subtract. And in this case, we are going to subtract 63 minus 34. You're going to line it up just like that. And then so let's go ahead and go through the motions. We can't do 3 minus 4, so we're going to borrow from the 6. Turning 3 into 13. 13 minus 4 equals 9. And then 5 minus 3 equals 2. So we have a negative 29. What do you mean negative? That's a positive. Remember, that's where we did the symbols first. You go ahead and put that's the correct symbol in your answer box, and then start doing your math and just add the number to whatever the proper symbol is over here. Negative is right because between 63 and 34, symbols are different. 63 is bigger. The answer is therefore the symbol belonging to 63, which is negative. So negative 29 is our answer. Okay, so subtract negative 15 and negative 17. Alright, don't worry about what this subtract words here. Just look at the numbers here. So we've got our negative 15 and negative 17, and the symbols are the same. Symbols are the same. What do? You keep the symbol that's already been provided. Negatives. There's negatives all around, so we're going to keep our answer negative. Some of you are thinking, wait a minute, doesn't negative and negative equal positive? No, that's a later lesson. Forget that right now. We'll come back to that. When you're adding and subtracting, if the symbols are the same, I don't care if they're both negatives, your answer is going to be negative. And then you add the two numbers that you've got, that the problem gave you. So in this case, it's going to end up being 32. or negative 32, because when the symbols are the same and adding and subtracting, you keep the symbol.